Sometimes art is prophetic, and sometimes I don't know how to offset it. The words too authentic to constantly do what I do and augment it. Y'all talk a big game, can't tell if y'all meant it. If seconds turns to minutes, the ticking will tell all. Will you hold firm or steadily fall? Will you conform with the ways of the world? Or will you give the world everything that you are? Make them fuckers move around you, kinda like sound do. Break out of everything that they had you bound to. You got knocked down, ho, get ready for round two. It's round two. Get ready for round two. Come back, run rap, run laps around these cats, jump back, kiss myself, still keeping me intact. Weird and black, they for that, hold up, steer it back. Weird and black, they revere that, yup, you hear that?
Turnstile, switch it up. Young nigga raised hard, he learned not to give a fuck. Young nigga came far, still never give enough. Coming with the flavor, delicious, so she lick it up. Bust down, stick it up, I put it down, so pick it up. Scud town, saviors, done some till he shift to musk. Stench so stank that the shit compare soft to us. Crud so dank, make your face much dripping, cuz club go shake when the bass get to hitting ya. They ain't really hearing us, but they gon' feel something when the way is paved clear enough. I don't fear nothing but the fate is God's really not. Well, fuck it, got the world in my hands, and that's real enough. Fuck it, got the world in my hands, gold forms to touch. Might just spend it all one time to give it all to us. Yeah, give it all to us.
Yeah, this that hip hop body rock, hardcore karate chop, neo-Nazi nasty, not feel it in my chest. How could you wear that name? Must be automatic shame. He's an automatic lame, heard it from the best. Fresh flow, let's go. Plus I got a lot of heart. It's necessary when you dabble in this art. Grab canvas, paint picture, use them acrylics, paint a picture so vivid the people gotta feel it like the kava. Lyrics bear fruit like guava, words spilling out of my brain like lava. Spills out the top of a volcano, and they know that A-Right is not the one to play no. I'm Kano in Mortal Kombat, cause the lyrics like blades. Aim it at your jugular when I'm on stage. Until you heard me spit, homie, you ain't heard rage. On another chapter, so turn a turn. Okay, got that out my system. A-Right on another planet, dog, you must have missed them. When I do it how I do it's of my own volition. Go make my destination even in the worst condition. My crew's the Blues Brothers, cause you know we on a mission. Eternity of roses I make bumping in your system. I mean banging in it, I'm still hanging in it. I got a gang of wisdom, I got a gang of rhythms, I got a lot of soul. I found the pot of gold, I'm wrapping that shit up, gon' sell it to the globe. I got some game to give them, they don't really want, but they really need it. And I want you to succeed, I want you to be free. I want you to remove every obstacle from being what you truly wanna be. I truly wanna see, and I can only lead by example. So here's a sample for me, so get up.
He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water. 2 touchdowns in a game?
Yes, in the game.
You're tripping.
How you high? No,
Greatest fucking Super Bowl time.
I don't know what we're doing in the front office, man. Twiddling our fucking dick.
Ryan, I just need you to drink this.
Wide receiver trivia. That's what she said.
Her.
What the fuck?
Her upset.
Are those crutches?
You can see Ryan's crutches. What is going on, folks? Welcome back to your favorite show on the internet. This is After Further Review, episode 120. I'm your co-host, Jalen Brown.
And I'm everybody's hated co-host, Malin. Look at us holding it down in the studio.
Your boys.
I'm your other wonderful co-host, Shaquille Brown.
And I'm your great co-host, Nestor, all the way from Colombia.
And our special guest this week, we have Mr. Dugas on the first half. Thank you, Mr. Dugas, for coming out.
Going on. Appreciate y'all having me.
Yes.
Well, we got to have somebody that represents the team in the championship games.
Right. None of our teams are here, so it is a pleasure to have you here. Folks, I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with Mr. Dugas' channel, but he does also have his own channel. So if you guys want to check him out, I have his channel and his Instagram down in the description below. So please take the time to go check out his content because he makes some great videos, which is how I found him in the first place. So thanks for taking the time to join us for the first half of the show. We've got a nice lineup of topics, but let's go ahead and take our opening shot to kick things off.
Let's do it. Cracking out some Four Roses tonight. How about you, Nestor?
Same thing, doers.
Doers.
Oh, you're still in the doers.
All right. Shaq, you got that lemon juice? Because you're sick.
No, new stuff.
You said the real stuff?
No, not God, no.
I had to do water tonight. Got to make a liquor run.
You are our third consecutive guest to do a water shot.
You know, it just makes him more responsible.
Yeah. All of our guests are more responsible than we
I'm
are.
sure by Sunday he'll be.
Oh,
Oh yeah. It's all having my son.
I saw a video with an Eagles fan that said, you know what? I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I take a crap. I go in the kitchen. I take Captain and coffee because I'm a savage and savages drink. And every Eagles fan is a savage. And I was like, okay, this guy is intense.
You ready?
Captain and coffee.
5 o'clock in the morning.
Jesus.
Captain and Folger. It's always in your cup.
Folks, if you are only listening to the show, we do live stream every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on the Melheims Media YouTube channel. So if you want to click the first link down in your podcast description, you'll be taken to the YouTube version of this episode. Go ahead and click subscribe. That way you can keep up with every single episode. You can join the live chat, weigh in, speak your own opinion, and maybe have a little back and forth. But yeah, make sure you like the video, hit subscribe, and you can keep up with all things Melheims Media. So without further ado, let's kick things off with the divisional round recap. We had a nice slate of games this last weekend, starting off with, of course, the Chiefs and the Jags game. The final score was 27-20. Let's start with you, Maitland. What was your biggest takeaway from this game?
Well, I think my biggest takeaway from the game is how sad I was that the Jaguars were still playing and my Seahawks were not. I think that any NFL season where the Jaguars go further than your own favorite team, that constitutes a failure. I don't care if you went to the playoffs or not. If the Jaguars went further than you, it was a failure because Duval County can still kiss my ass. But no, two things really kind of surprised me. One was the fact that with 11:49 left in the game, the Jaguars were still in it at 2017. Like when they were down 17-7 going in at half with Henny.
Yeah.
throwing the ball, I was like, okay, they're cooked. I was like, this isn't the Chargers. Like, they're not going to make that comeback. But then when they were only down 2017, I was like, okay. But I think everyone's biggest takeaway has to be like, what's the status going to be of Mahomes? High ankle sprain, yelling at the coaches on the sideline, not wanting to come out in the second half. Andy Reid basically telling them, listen, until you go back there and get checked out, you're not going into the game, and I don't care what you tell me. So the walrus being the walrus, that was pretty cool. But like that type of injury takes like 4 to 5 weeks to heal. So even if they beat Cincy, which is a big if, on Sunday, he's still going to be dealing with this high ankle sprain to some degree in the Super Bowl. And I just saw Dugas, he cracked a smile because he knows his Eagles is probably going to the Super Bowl, and he's like, heck yeah, man, high ankle sprain. So he's still going to be favoring it. But at the end of the day, like with a high ankle sprain, I was listening to Hugh Millen, who was an NFL quarterback back in the late 80s, early 90s, and he was talking about like the weight distribution that you put on your feet. And he talked about how he dealt with a high ankle sprain. And he said that if you're right-handed and you have a high ankle sprain on your right foot, it's going to affect your distance more than it's going to affect your accuracy.
Gotcha.
Because apparently most quarterbacks, they load up all the weight on their left foot when they're right-handed, like right before they release the ball. So he doesn't think it's going to affect the accuracy, in which it shouldn't, but that deep ball might not be there. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of offense they roll out there against Cincy.
Yeah. Gotcha. Mr. Dugas, you can go next.
My biggest takeaway is Jacksonville not quite ready yet, for that type of moment against that type of coach and quarterback at this point. But sky's the limit for them going forward, especially with our old coach Dougie P, who does a tremendous job. Because if that game would have been against a Cincinnati or somebody like that, they would have took advantage of the circumstances fully. They had the ball inside of the 10-yard line when they had a critical fumble. The defense was starting to come up with styles, but then the offense, couldn't take advantage and score to make the game even tighter. But Kansas City gutted it out. Mahomes is big time, like you said. The ankle will be something we got to keep an eye on going forward. But they took care of their business though. The defense stepped up and made a couple of plays when they needed to. But Jacksonville, they got a bright future, but they just wasn't quite ready yet, to have that type of leap in this year. But great season by them, especially the way they came back and beat the Chargers last.
He's so much nicer than me.
It's well said. Shaq, what was your biggest takeaway?
I'm kind of almost going to second that with the aspect of they're a great team right now. It's just unfortunate they have to play Kansas City in their lineup of stuff, and they're just not quite ready for that big stage of winning playoff games. Because they would have, if they did happen to squeeze by Kansas City, how much do we see them perform well back-to-back upsets or things of that nature? So I think it'll be another 1 or 2 seasons before we really have confidence in this team to be like, okay, I could see them making this long run in postseason. They just don't have the experiences together as a team yet.
And Nestor?
I mean, yeah, they have a bright future and everything, but this is exactly how I figured the game would go, because they were in the game for a while until I think it was the fourth quarter when they Jamal Agnew dropped the ball inside the Chiefs' 5, so that would have been a huge play, and we had Trevor Lawrence out there giving his best out there. I mean, he was really, this man did not want to go home. So yeah, they have a bright future, but that's exactly the point, right? They're young and they're gonna make mistakes like this that you just can't make against the Chiefs.
I'll just say that if Doug Peterson can take Nick Foles and win a Super Bowl, the sky's the limit on what he can do with Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
Because that man's a baller. And, I do think that we do need to shout out Chad Henne just a little bit.
Yeah.
You're talking about a 15-year NFL vet. The man's 37 years old. He's not quite as old as me. He's not in that ballpark, Jalen. But he's out of Michigan. I remember watching him at Michigan, and for him to have that moment now, that moment was only 5 for 7 for 23 yards and 1 touchdown. So let's not act like he was Joe Montana, leading the drive against the Bengals back in the '88 Super Bowl or anything like that. Like, no, it wasn't anything like that. But he had command of the offense. Like, there wasn't any false starts. There weren't, wasting timeouts or anything like that. And so for someone to be in the league for 15 years and kind of have that moment in the playoffs, that's like a signature moment in any backup's career. So so he deserves a little bit of a shout out.
Yeah, he had a similar a few years ago when Patrick Mahomes went out against the Browns, I think in the divisional round as well, where he came in for a little while and just held it down at the end of the game.
How long has he been the backup there? Because I thought it was Chase McDaniels back then, but it might have been Chad Henne.
Yeah,
Honest
that was
to
like
God, I kind of felt like Chase McDaniels and Henne were the same person for the longest time. Yeah. One of them went to Missouri, one of them went to Michigan. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, my takeaway was, like you guys are saying, Jags' future is bright. Shaq, I think that the Jags are here to stay. Like, I don't really see a 1 to 2 year test period. I think this is not the 2017-2018 Jags when they made the AFC Championship game with Blake Bortles. Like, this team with Dougie P, with Trevor Lawrence, Etienne, Christian Kirk, they have a lot of young players that have shown they should be here next year. The Jags, I think, are just showing us they're not going to be the same old Jacksonville that we've been used to. This should be a pretty consistent team with all the young talent that they have. So,
well, here's a question for you then, and Nestor and Shaq can answer this one. Over the next 5 years, which team is running the state of Florida? The Jaguars, Miami, or Tampa? Who's winning their division and going to the playoffs more? I got to go with the Jags.
It could be the Jags.
Because it's the easiest division.
Right. Yeah.
I don't feel like answering that because our QB's up in the air right now.
Man, y'all going to end up with Tom Brady. Shut up. San Francisco got Purdy, so Tom's going to go to Miami now. Well, what do you think about that, Duga? Who do you think is going to be running Florida for the next 5 years?
I say Jacksonville. When you talk about Lawrence and Etienne and Dougie P and Josh Allen on the defensive end, and they're gonna add more pieces. It's gonna be more of a destination for free agents, especially now with Lawrence being on that rookie deal right now, where they could go sign some people. So I'll say Jacksonville.
Alrighty, moving on.
That's just sad.
I know.
I feel like that's in the Book of Revelation. We're in the end of time.
Next game, this was the Saturday night game. The Eagles blowing out the Giants 38-7. So, Mr. Dugas, we will start with you on this one. Are the Eagles that good, or did the Giants just not belong in this game?
You know what this man's about to say.
I think it's a combination of both. We got much better personnel than the Giants had. The Giants had a great year. I think Brian Dable is a really, really good head coach. They're in a similar spot to what we were in last year. We were happy to get there, but at least for them, they won a playoff game. We went to Tampa and just got boat raced. And, we added, of course, A.J. Brown, Bradbury, and a couple of other pieces. But with them, we were just much better from a talent standpoint. People thought the game would be close because they wasn't sure about, Jalen Hurts' shoulder and Lane Johnson's, abdominal injury. But the fact that we were out there healthy, we just was much more better than them from a personnel standpoint.
Very true. Shaq.
The Eagles, an amazing team. I just think it came down to the stage is way too big for the Giants right now. And they just clearly couldn't show it for the most part of why they belong to be here in the first place. So the Eagles handled their business, went out there and blew them out of the water, and the Giants are kind of We almost tried our best. So better luck next time, Giants.
Nestor.
I think a lot of people expected maybe Jalen Hurts to still be feeling that shoulder injury, and my mind was on that game against Washington they had, and I was thinking maybe the Giants can pull this off, but man, Philly, I feel like Philly made us look dumb because, and I don't want to say this because
What's this us?
but
I
we all picked Philly. I mean, not Philly. We picked the Giants.
Yeah, we all took the Giants
Oh.
To get the job done. So
Right. Yep, that's definitely us.
honestly, I'm gonna give
Damn.
Philly some respect here.
I
'cause,
apologize, Dugas.
we didn't expect the defense to show out like that. Hassan Reddick had like a sack, I think. Jalen Hurts was doing his thing. 2 touchdowns early on. Like he was full. Well, maybe not MVP, but he's MVP. He was on MVP mode.
Yeah.
So we gotta give Philly some credit here. And yeah, Giants are not ready for the stage. Yeah, they've improved. I don't want to put a lot of blame on White Michael Vick. Is that what you call him? What you're calling him?
Oh, Vanilla Vic.
Vanilla Vick. I mean, there's some decision making that was off a little bit too. Like they went fourth. They tried on 4th and down when they shouldn't have. I feel like there were some things they could have not done, but at the end of the day, they just weren't ready for that stage. And Philly's they're looking good. They're a great team. So yeah.
Yeah, that 4th down that they went for, I didn't really blame him for that. At that point, it was like, we're getting our teeth kicked in. We might as well just try something different here. So it was no surprise. I did think that the Giants belonged there. I mean, they controlled the whole wild card game against Minnesota. So it wasn't like they just kind of squeaked into that divisional game. But the Eagles are still just that good all around. Hurts he came right back and seemed like he never left, which, like everybody else is saying, I don't think anybody saw that happening. Thought there was going to be at least a little bit of rust in the first half of the game at least, but he was just right back to where he picked up. But the Eagles roster is just, they're so much more talented than the Giants are. I think it was Colin Cowherd was saying that if you took the Giants roster compared to the Eagles, pretty much at every single level, nobody would start on the Eagles roster that the Giants have. Like they're just that much more talented than they are. Like the defensive line for Philly is just nasty. Everybody knows Hurts. The running game is just solid all around. Those receivers are crazy good. They're just a really, really, really good team, which is why the San Francisco matchup is going to be so damn good because they're also a really talented team. So, yeah, Eagles are just that good. But Malin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I might have had a concussion last week because I honestly God don't remember taking the Giants. I was wondering how I was 3-2 into Ride or Die in 5 because everything, even in my notes, is how like the Eagles are like that much better. So I don't know what I was thinking.
Taking into account the wind speed.
I kind of feel like no, that was G Money. I kind of feel like I want to throw that red flag a little bit in those commercials, the progressive commercials, and then but I'll be embarrassed. But no, I mean like the Giants deserve to be there because they played the Vikings in the wild card. If they had played somebody else in a wild card, maybe they wouldn't have deserved to be there. But the Vikings were lucky to be there. Like, what a fraud of a 13th team. So they beat who was in front of them to get there. But we all know that the Giants started out strong. But you can't look past their last 10 games. They were 3-6-1 in the last 10 games. I mean, so yeah, they deserve to be there because they beat the Vikings, but we all agreed the Vikings are a fraud. But 3-6-1, like that's not limping into the playoffs. That's like Lieutenant Dan strolling in a wheelchair into the playoffs. Like you're hurting at that point. And you know the Eagles with Jalen Hurts are 14-1 this year. And, you know, my dumb ass was talking like Jalen Hurts hadn't even played in a month last week, and I forgot he played in week 18. So I was clearly had some sort of head trauma
didn't
because I
realize that
remember
either.
talking about that. I remember saying he hadn't played for like a month, so I had some sort of head trauma. But yeah, 14-1, and I don't think, and Duga, don't hate me for this. I'm still not the biggest believer in Jalen Hurts as a long term franchise quarterback. I still look at him maybe being a little bit more of a product of the system, like maybe somebody like a Colin Kaepernick, where you have to have a lot more talent around you and a great defense, which the Eagles have, the number 2 defense in the league. They can set you up and put you in great positions. But he's balling this year. And even though he missed 2 games, I would give him the MVP over Patrick Mahomes. Because I think that without Jalen Hurts this year, this Eagles squad is probably hitting around 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I'm good with him being a franchise quarterback simply because with him is the leadership. Not necessarily just his skill set, but it's his leadership. He's much better this year than he was last year, especially with his deep ball accuracy. Now, granted, it helps having AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and all those guys, but you know, um, just the accuracy of his deep balls this year, his command of the offense, and just his calming presence. Whenever things look a little bit tight, he stays calm and he pulls us through. So, that's something that I feel like I want in a leader, as the team, and I can't wait to see how he play this week with the pressure of getting to a Super Bowl on the line.
It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah. G Money in the live chat says the Giants were 14-2 against the spread, and that's why I think we took the Giants. There's that.
Oh, okay. Well, there's reason for the madness on that. And like I'm talking about Jalen Hurts. I'm not being the biggest believer of that, but like my quarterback was Geno Smith. Your quarterback was Mac Jones. Shaq's quarterback was Pickett, Trubisky. I don't know who the hell you guys have out there half the time. And then Edward Scissorhands Tua, who doesn't know his last name right now because it's too many letters for him to be able to pronounce because he's had so many goddamn concussions. So I think he definitely has the best quarterback out of this bunch.
Yeah, I'd take him tomorrow.
Jesus. God, we got such a sad batch of
Yeah.
from our favorite teams.
Next up, we have the Bengals dominating the Bills 27-10. This was the game that made me the happiest over the entire weekend. But let's start with Nestor. What was the biggest reason that the Bengals controlled this whole game?
Well, we thought that the Bengals had a hurt O line, and
They do.
I don't know the names of those replacements they had, but man, I mean that O line they showed out because they created gaps when they needed to. We had Joe Mixon and Perrine, I think, going for like 138 yards, uh, uh, touchdown. They were doing their thing, and they were really effective. Plus, you have Joe Burrow, which is just his decision making, like by the second, is amazing. This guy is really good at that, and that's so efficient and so needed in the playoffs. And then at the same time, you have the Bills, who, and I think I've seen this with the Dolphins. I'm sorry to bring up, sorry, Malin, for bringing up the Dolphins, but it's just when they face a decent defense. I feel like Josh Allen, as mobile as he tries to get these clutch, huge passes across, and it works against the Dolphins because our corners, like we suck at covering that. But when you face a decent team that can cover that, and you can't establish a short passing game, man, you're gonna get dominated, which is what happened here. So that's why they dominated. Not so much Cincy having a great defense, but the Bills just fucking suck at a short passing game. And at the same time, their O line worked. it worked really efficiently, and you got to give them that.
Yeah, I'm gonna ditto pretty much everything you just said. Their O line was like the biggest question coming into this game, and they completely outplayed the Bills' O line. Like they were just creating holes for the run game and giving Joe Burrow plenty of time to throw the ball. And big props to them, but Joe Burrow, man, that dude is like Batman. Like he shows no sort of emotion when shit hits the fan. He's not rattled at all. He'll get knocked down, gets right back up. He just takes care of business, makes sure that his receivers can catch the ball. He knows that it's snowing out, something that Josh Allen, I don't know if you ever realized that. Maybe we should stop taking all these deep shots when people can barely even see the damn ball coming at them. But he made sure to just short passes, hand off when needed to, take the deep shots here and there, but not just keep relying on that. And he's just so calm, cool under pressure. Like Joe Burrow is that dude. So I think it was the O-line was the biggest reason that they controlled this whole game. But damn, man, the Bills, they went out sad. I gotta say, I expected them to put up a better fight than they did, especially being at home in the Bills kind of weather. They're always talking about how much they love the terrible conditions, and didn't do much in these terrible conditions. So props to the Bengals. But Malin, floor is yours.
I mean, I think the biggest reason is because the Bengals are the best team in the AFC, and I think Joe Burrow's the best quarterback in the NFL. In my opinion. He's 3-0 against the Chiefs. He's 1-0 against the Bills. He's 4-2 against the Ravens. You're talking about three of the best quarterbacks you're talking about. Where's Justin Herbert right now in the playoffs? What's he doing for all the clap that everybody gives him? But yet they never put Burrow on the same level as Mahomes. They never put him on the same level of Josh Allen. They never put him on the same level of Herbert or all these other people. It's always those three in the NFL. Lamar Jackson gets more clout than him. Yet this man's done nothing except in his first season in the NFL do exactly what Mahomes did. Like Mahomes went to the AFC Championship game and lost. Burrow went to the Super Bowl and lost. Now he's going to a second straight AFC Championship game, which is like the same thing that Mahomes is doing. And you know what? Like the Bills went backwards this year.
Yeah.
And the NFL has changed the rules twice to try to get the Bills into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They changed the overtime rules last year after what happened in Kansas City. And then this year, after Kanye Hamlin, which is what I call him now because of what he was doing in Buffalo with all that security detail and doing all that, we can go ahead and call him Kanye Hamlin at this point. That man's fine.
They didn't want to get him excited.
No, they didn't want to get him too excited, but like, come on, man. You don't need 15 security guards. Like, people, like, there's so many people that are like conspiracy theorists now, like, we can't see his face. And I'm like, well, you can't because he's taking a page out of Kanye at this point. Like, I don't know what's happening with the man. I know he needs oxygen, but damn. But then they changed the rules and they screwed Cincinnati.
Right.
Like, they were going to have to do a coin flip with Baltimore. And then, like, I'm just like, come on, man. They were going to move the Kansas City Buffalo game to a neutral site if Buffalo won. I love that Joe Burrow went up there at the podium, was like, get your refund back. I thought that was cool. But the moment that it went up 14-0, man, you knew what was over. I mean, both teams are used to playing in cold weather. The only thing that makes me really think about this game going beyond, like, what was the biggest reason is the Bills window shut? Or is it, like, close to being shut? Because Allen's cap hit, or his cap hit goes from $16.4 million to $39.8 million. And he's going to account for 70% of the cap. Nobody outside of Steve Young back in 1994 when free agency started has won the Super Bowl with the quarterback making more than 13.1% of the salary cap. They already don't have enough talent around Josh Allen, even with his erratic behavior. Stephon Diggs cannot be the only person that he got. Cole Beasley, really? Come on, miss me with that nonsense. There's plenty of white guys out there, but come on, that man should be out of the league. So it just really kind of makes me wonder, like, everyone was setting up Josh Allen for someone that's never won an MVP.
Yep.
for someone that's never been to the Super Bowl, never been to the AFC Championship game, all of this hype, is the window already closing because Burrow is that good? Like, is it going to be Mahomes and Burrow over Mahomes and Allen like everybody thought it was going to be? I kind of think it's going to be that way.
Yeah. And just real quick, I almost forgot to mention this. Their Buffalo's run game, they've got to do something about that because it's Josh Allen or bust. They have no sense of a run game. I don't know what's going on there, but Mr. Dugas, you can go next.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get to. The Buffalo really have as much greater personnel as everybody try to make it seem they had, early on. The Von Miller injury was really, really big for them because they literally had no pass rushers out there. I know Cincinnati O-line played well with the 3 backups, but Buffalo didn't have nobody out there that could have really put pressure on Burrow and rush the passer. And then on the other side of the ball, like you said, where's the running backs? Everything is so reliant on Josh Allen's ability to make plays, to throw the ball to Stephon Diggs, to run the ball. They got to get him more help. And also, I think a lot of that, what you said earlier, I think Cincinnati had a lot more motivation in this game because I've been saying all along, like, if y'all going to put a potential Buffalo-Kansas City game at a neutral site, why wouldn't Cincinnati-Buffalo at a neutral site? If Cincinnati would have beat Buffalo on that Monday night game, that game would have been in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And
So I think they had the motivation of, the NFL, because of the Hamlin situation, which thank God he's okay. But because of that, it seemed like you said the NFL was trying their best to have the sympathy card for the team and give them every advantage possible. And I think Cincinnati was motivated behind that to go in there and say, okay, y'all want to make us come over here, we're going to shut it down anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Mixon said, he was like, y'all forget that we were the ones in the Super Bowl from the AFC last year. Like, it wasn't KC or Buffalo.
Yeah.
Now we beat both of them in the playoffs at this point.
Shaq.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the main reason for them winning is the Bengals are the better team and more complete team. Joe Burrow being the better quarterback, probably the best quarterback in the league right now, going with Malin. Because in this aspect, let's say they do run it back and having to beat, of course, Mahomes and KC again to run it back to the Super Bowl. And if they happen to win the Super Bowl, now he's got the same amount of rings and the same amount of Patrick Mahomes and the chaos. So it's kind of like, what are you guys using to define Patrick Mahomes to be so great when you have Joe Burrow coming through and really dominating the league right now? So this team is definitely making themselves known that they are competitively running the league right now. So this is very complete. The best quarterback.
G Money says the Bills defense hasn't been the same since Von Miller went down. They can't generate a consistent pass rush, and without that, their corners can't cover. This is true, but I put that on the Bills, to be honest. They went out and got him in free agency. I'm sorry, outside of him with the Rams, what was Von Miller's previous career? Like, he was always injured. Shouldn't they kind of have expected, he may have probably just peaked in LA and probably won't get that same production here. Like, if you were hanging your whole defensive hat on Von Miller being available, probably should have guessed that.
Also, were you not... did you not lose in the playoffs last year, the Chiefs, because of a shootout?
Right.
The defense gave up less points to Cincinnati than they did against Kansas City last year. It was the offense that only scored 10 points.
Right.
And they were running back the same offense.
Right.
So, to me, yeah, you can go ahead and blame the defense all you want, but the offense has become predictable. And Josh Allen is trying to play too much like Brett Favre.
Yep.
In today's NFL.
Yep.
And that ain't going to cut
That's
it.
a very good comparison. Last but not least, the funny game here, the 49ers and the Cowboys, 19-12 was the final score. Let's start off with, Shaq, we'll start with you. Did you learn more about the Cowboys or the Niners from this game?
Uh, I would say Niners, even though I knew they're like big competitors and the big like tough teams to really run through. This kind of proves that they're like a solid team, and they will. Like I said, they could beat the Eagles, but I'm saying they definitely make the Eagles work for it in comparison to their last game. The Cowboys, I'm not surprised because Cowboys like doing Cowboy things, and this is the prime way for them to lose the season by kind of fumbling over themselves. It didn't seem like they wanted to win this game towards the end of the game. It's like, what are y'all doing? Y'all have the opportunity to win, but here you go, let the 49ers take it from y'all. So it just confirms that they are bigger competitors than I thought they were.
Mr. Dugas.
Dak Prescott regressed this year. He cost them that game. Like, if you just make simple plays, not turn the ball over, Dallas had every opportunity to win that game. I mean, their defense played outstanding. McCaffrey didn't get going like that. Mitchell didn't get going. Debo really didn't do anything. They just had one drive they put together off of a crazy catch by Kittle. Dak Prescott was bad, and I think that's what really helped. The 49ers defense was good as well. They made plays, but the two interceptions Dak threw were two balls that just should have never been thrown in those directions. And the 49ers, they got a lot of though their quarterback is very inexperienced. They got a lot of players over there that has, championship scenery type of pedigree. Like, this is they're going to their third NFC championship game in the last 4 years. So, they're not gonna panic whenever these games get really, really tight and really close. And Dak panicked. Plus, when Tony Pollard went out, it also hurt their offense a lot too, because Zeke is just washed up at this point, and they didn't really have nobody besides CeeDee Lamb that could have really put a lot of fear into the 49ers.
Yeah, I have to say that Dak, I learned the most about Dak. It just kind of went to show this was a prime opportunity for him, and he wet the bed again. So I just think that, if he couldn't get it done here, you probably can't get it done anywhere else. Your defense, you turn over the ball twice, and your defense holds the other team to under 20 points, and you still can't outscore a rookie quarterback like Dak. That's just on Dak Prescott, in my opinion. Cowboys, they had their opportunity there. I don't put any of that on their defense. They did what they could. The offense, Zeke too, throw him in there. He should have played a hell of a lot better. Jesus. Malin, you can go ahead.
Yeah, Dak ended up doing exactly what we were all saying we thought he was going to do. Because he comes off of that 4 touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown performance, and you're like, wow, that offense is... And we're like, well, is this going to be the day that Dak... Because if Dak didn't do it last week, he would have done it this week against the Eagles. Like, at some point, the Cowboys were not going to the Super Bowl. Like, we all knew that. And then he only throws for 206, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He's like, come on, man. And then Pollard gets hurt.
Right.
And then you take Salvation Army Zeke to 10 rushes for 26 yards. Like, 26. How much money did he make to run for 26 yards in that game? Like, I want to know how much each yard was actually the monetary value of each yard. Like, it's just ridiculous how unproductive that man is. But the other thing I've really kind of been looking at the last 2 weeks is that Purdy has not been playing exceptionally well the last 2 weeks. At one point against the Seahawks, 30th ranked defense in the NFL, he was 5-19 in the first half. Now, he got some pad statted because Seahawks started kind of fumbling all over themselves, and there was a 75-yard touchdown pass, the Debo Samuel, like stuff like that. But at one point in the first half against the 30th ranked defense in the NFL, he was 5-19. Yeah. And then he goes out this next week against Dallas's defense, which is not Philly's defense.
Right.
Okay. 19 to 29, 214, no touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Didn't make mistakes, but he wasn't winning the game. Like they're going to, if San Francisco is going to put up a fight against Philly, the quarterback has to make plays to win the game, not just be that game manager. And he's become just that, just an average guy during the playoffs. So they're going to have to figure something out for us to be able to have a fun viewing experience on Sunday, because I'm tired of these blowouts in these 19 to 12 games.
Nestor.
I forgot who mentioned that Dak Prescott was just not that guy. He isn't the guy for a Super Bowl run. He just isn't. And he threw 2 interceptions. He did exactly what we thought he would do. And I learned nothing about the Cowboys in this situation, and I learned nothing about San Francisco just because it happened the way I would think it would happen. We saw Kittle make a run that supposedly he wasn't supposed to make. And then Brock Purdy found him, and then there you go. There's a key play. The San Francisco defense did what they had to do, which is keep the Cowboys in line, and Dak did what he had to do, which is throw 2 interceptions. So, frankly, I learned nothing about both teams in this situation, this game.
That's fair. Well, that was the divisional round recap. Did you guys overall pretty good divisional round, or what do you guys think?
Nah, the wild card was better.
Luster.
Wild card
was a lot better, just because of the Kansas City Jags and the Niners and the Cowboys game. And I mean, Philly should have had another bye.
Yeah, they might as well. Yeah.
And then like none of the games were like, when Kansas City Jaguars is like the closest.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, everyone always says the divisional round is the best weekend of football in the NFL every year, and I was like,
not this year.
Oh no, it's kind of sad.
All right, let's get to the L's of the week. We've got some NBA L's. We've got some NFL L's.
Straight trash, homie.
Let's start with the NFL L. So, my Patriots decided that we're going to go ahead and get rid of our 2 bags of bricks and bring in a bag of rocks to coach our offense. Bringing in Bill O'Brien to get the job done. And Bill Belichick, you old bastard. Senile old man.
Man's got 3 friends. I'm surprised Charlie Weiss isn't out there coaching the offense right now.
Why does he just call up Bill Parcells while he's at it? I mean, just bring in all the Bills. Just keep retreading them through. I'll just say this. Anything is better than Patricia and Joe Judge, but... Which was
defensive coordinator, special teams.
Right. So just by default, we'll go from an F- to maybe an F+, maybe a D.
Can I give you some positives, though?
I'm all for it.
Okay. Because this man was your offensive coordinator for 1 year.
Yep.
Okay. That 1 year as the offensive coordinator before he went to Penn State. Okay. Because Patriots wanted McDaniels back because he decided to tank the Broncos. Number 2 in yards in the NFL, 428. Number 2 in passing yards, 317.8 a game. Number 3 in point score, 32.1. And they went to the Super Bowl. Now they lost to the Giants again. I know that is a sore spot in your heart. But everything I just told you was a top 3 offense in the NFL under the 1 year that they had O'Brien. And when they had Hopkins and Watkins in Houston, that offense was rolling. So, I mean, I don't think it's the worst hire. I think it's the funniest hire just because he's already been with the Patriots. It's like everybody else, they leave and come back. But I don't know. I think Mac Jones could be a completely different quarterback next year under Bill O'Brien.
I mean, I would sure like that to happen, but I don't know. O'Brien seems to be, he's the coach of highs and lows, where it's like you said, the undefeated season, and then that was it. And then he goes to Houston, gets to the playoffs against the Chiefs, has that huge lead, blows it. And then after that, just completely throws that team into the bowels.
The 1 year that he was your OC wasn't the undefeated season. It was the year that they had the two tight end set, Gronk and Aaron Hernandez.
Right, my bad.
So it was like it was a much different offense.
Second time
they came of age under that offensive scheme that he had.
Yeah.
And I remember they torched the hell out of the Dolphins in my
that Monday night game.
Yeah, I think Hernandez and Gronk both had 100 yards receiving in that game.
That was unbelievable. Bill O'Brien does like his tight ends, but I don't know. Him being at Bama this last year or these past couple of years, and we've seen how they did. So, I mean, there's a reason Nick Saban said, "Yeah, go ahead, Bill. You can you can get up out of here."
I was just trying to give you a silver lining.
I appreciate
to make it not so bad.
Well, Mac Jones is happy. There's that. Mac Jones
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's like, shit.
I don't know. He's still probably cussing somebody out in the hallway. That man been constantly cussing somebody out for like 12 weeks.
I don't blame him. Mr. Dugas, any thoughts?
As far as I'll say this though, not trying to be negative, but by me being an LSU fan, I do deal with a lot of Alabama fans. They couldn't wait for Bill O'Brien to leave. I'm gonna say that. They were ecstatic. They were sending me messages like, "Thank God he's finally gone." But he has experience with that organization. Now, obviously, Mac Jones is not Tom Brady, but like you said, you can't get worse than Matt Patricia. He was the defensive coordinator back in the day. It's something similar to the Andy Reid's last year with us, where he took the offensive line coach Louis Castillo and made him the defensive coordinator. Once you start doing stuff like that, it goes downhill.
But I will say this about Alabama fans: I don't think they've ever liked a single offensive coordinator they've ever had. Like Lane Kiffin, Sark, like all them people. They're like, "Oh man, get out of here! You're not." You suck.
Jalen, do you think maybe Hunter Henry will do better under Bill O'Brien?
I would think so, because he had a great year. Not this past year, but his first year with us. He played him and Mac Jones had a really good connection. So I would imagine that once Bill O'Brien comes in, that he has a better year. But we need to also improve our weapons all around anyway. So I don't know how that's going to go. But Shaq, any thoughts?
I just think y'all be the same team as y'all were this past season.
Right,
Next season, honest with you. Don't think shit's gonna really change for y'all, but baby steps. Baby steps.
Okay. Why was there such a smugness with that?
I don't know.
The Steelers were gonna be so great.
Be one of these two hooligans teams and not just as bad as mine.
All right, we'll see y'all fighting for that wild card spot next year. Moving into a different sport here. All right, so we got the Kings blew out the Grizzlies 133-100. I don't know if you guys noticed, the Kings are actually a pretty good basketball team this year.
Yes. What are they doing?
What is going on?
They're 27-19.
Yeah, the third best team in the West.
At first, when you put this up, I was like, wow, that's really strange blowout. They suck, and the Grizzlies are supposed to be good. And I was like, they're only 3.5 games better than them.
Right.
And I didn't even know that Arvydas Sabonis' son DeMontis
Yeah,
Sabonis was
DeMontis,
actually in the league, and that was his 6th triple-double
Yeah.
of the year. I was like,
Sabonis is balling.
go ahead with your bad selves.
Right.
Over there. I was about to come on here and just laugh for 90 seconds. And then I did the research and I was like, damn, they're actually doing pretty good. I was like, I don't think they've been to third best in the West since they had Weber and Mike Bibby and Vlade Divac, man. We're going way back.
So it's been a long time for the Kings.
Kobe was alive and a teammate with Shaq when the Kings were good last.
Do you guys have any thoughts on the Kings Grizzlies? Really, the Kings.
Oh, what a day to be alive.
Mike Brown's doing big things over there. He gets another chance to be a head coach in this league again. And he's doing big things over there. De'Aaron Fox, I think, gonna be an all-star, as well as possibly Sabonis. So, I think they're doing their thing in a very, very loaded Western Conference.
Let me ask you just one question, guys, before we get into the last L, before we get to the All-Star break. So I learned today that the All-Star game, that you have your 2 captains, and I know that Durant and LeBron James are always going to be the captains, right? But did you know that this year that they're not picking the teams until like the day of?
Weird.
Like 2 hours before the game, I think it is. Like they're doing it that day. They're all
like
they're
it's a
getting,
pickup game.
Yeah, like a pickup game. They're putting everybody on the court. And then LeBron, like, we're going schoolyard here, and they're picking people. I'm like, how am I supposed to bet on this?
Right.
Like, what are we? Like, people are going to be airing grievances out on the court. Like, they're not going to be doing it through Twitter. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? NBA? Like, what is this?
That's
like,
probably
what
the
do you
only
think
reason
about this?
it's 2 hours is to give you that 2-hour window to bet. Because they're like, we can't do it at tip off. We got to give them some time.
You got to
for
put
the
a jersey
degenerates. Right.
Wouldn't it be crazy if they're just handing out jerseys as they? I take Curry. Here's your shirt. Like, we going shirts and skins, people.
I'm cool with it. The NBA is always changing stuff up with the All-Star game, like pretty much every year. So I like the experimentation. So we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna miss my money off the prop bets this year. It's gonna be sad.
There is that. I'm sure there'll be something going on. Right.
Me and
You'll find a
MGM
way.
are gonna be on fire.
Last L of the week. There's a couple L's in here that just sting. But Celtics lose to the Magic and the Heat down here in Florida. This just in the state of Florida is cursed. I don't know what it is, but the Celtics will tell you that. The Chargers will damn sure tell you that. The Bucks will tell you that. The Bucks cursed by their own state. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Celtics, I think they've lost every single game to the Magic this year. Obviously, they've not lost every single game to the Heat this year.
I mean, that would be a travesty.
Yeah, but
Right.
yeah. I did happen to go to the Magic game, and it did seem like it was a Celtics home game. Like there was way more Celtics fans there than there were Magic fans. But
and we still lost.
yeah, we still lost.
That was terrible.
It was a travesty. But any thoughts on the Celtics Florida trip not going well at all?
Go ahead, Heat fans.
I mean, it's cursed. Nothing but Duval County and crackheads. One around this wonderful state. So I hope the trend continues and the EU continues to lose to the Heat. Like,
Our biggest thing was why this couldn't happen Game 7, man. I mean, I'm not over
You know,
it.
this
I'm
man
not-
has some pain. When he can't even celebrate the win because he's like Game 7, man.
That was my thoughts. Like, where was this Game 7, man? Like, why the Jimmy shot just couldn't fall, man? Just Man, but nah, Boston gonna be okay. You know, they've been without Marcus Smart, and Brock. You know, that's a big part of their team, obviously. You know, especially on the defensive end. But you know, I think they'll be okay in the long run. You know, it's a long NBA season. You have stretches like this, or you lose to. Well, obviously Miami. We know we are a good team, not a great team, but we're a good team. You know, gonna be a playoff team. But you lose to teams like that. Orlando, I think I seen a funny meme the other day where they had them holding up the championship trophy because they never lost to the Celtics or the Warriors this season, which is just crazy.
Oh, Orlando. They should have just had Mickey Mouse out there.
They might
You know,
as well.
Brian Trophy.
I have a friend that he's a Lakers fan, and he goes out to Disney just to watch. Anytime a good team comes to Orlando to play, he just goes to Orlando and he watches these games. So no, but you guys had like what, 4 great players out, including Marcus Smart.
Yeah, Brown was out and
So
Brogdon.
we took Jimmy off, last minute, but still, Tyler Hero didn't have a great game. Um, there's not much. You guys have just had 4 great players out, so I'm not willing that we're trying to get past Cleveland. Is that where we are at the table right now?
Yeah.
The fact that that's your
So
measuring stick.
and it's not, and I feel like when Cleveland has
You're in the
Donovan
Eastern
Mitchell
Conference
there,
Finals, and you're like, if we could just get past Chicago
right?
right now.
I feel like we're not gonna get that done either way because Donovan
mean-
Mitchell's gonna get back in full health and he's a beast.
Listen,
So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't see that as a big L. I mean, I think the Orlando L was more of a more of a statement.
I think anytime
Disney.
you lose to an inferior team, that's a big
Yeah.
deal. And that happens. And both of those is kind of like the Miami Heat one might be a lowercase L as far as inferiority, but the Orlando one hurt a lot, especially because you paid money to go to the game. Damn. But the biggest reason why we lost that game was because where the hell was Tatum in the fourth quarter? 3 points in the fourth quarter.
In a terrible turnover.
I mean,
Yeah, you guys sucked in the fourth quarter.
Jimmy Butler didn't even play, and he scored 3 less points in the fourth quarter than Tatum did. That did play. So I want to put Tatum in that realm of superstar in the NBA, but every time I'm getting close to doing that with my boy, he's like, "Let me just shit the bed and roll around in it." And just get all smelly and have a shit game like this. But, listen, at the end of the day, Boston's 35-14. We're first in the East. Miami's 27-22. They're 8 games behind us, and they're in the 6th. So I'm still feeling pretty good about it. Like I said, we're missing some people. I know Horford's going to be back later on this week in one of the picks we're going to be making later. And we'll catch a couple dubs with everybody catches a dub when they play the Lakers. We're playing them on Saturday, so that's going to be nice. LeBron James might throw 40 down on us, but we'll still win because that's what's happening with the Lakers right now. LeBron scores 40 and they lose by 18. But that's just life as a Lakers fan. So is what it is. But could have been a better week for us.
Right.
Could have been.
That will do it for the first half of the show. Mr. Dugas, thank you for joining us. Thank you for spending a bit of your evening with us hooligans.
Can I say one more thing? My mom gave me a stat she wanted to put out here earlier tonight, and I didn't do it, and I don't want my mom to kill me. So the Seattle Seahawks scored more points in the first quarter than the Dallas Cowboys did in the entire game against the San Francisco 49ers. My mom just wanted me to throw that out there. That was not me. That was my mama. And you do what your mama says. So I said it.
How's that for a
there.
stat?
It's the truth. Geno Smith outplayed Dak Prescott in the playoffs against San Francisco.
Well, folks, We're going to go to a break here, and we'll come back. We'll have G Money on the other side, and we will see you in just a bit.
I've got some nerve to play on. I took away my now Playboy sweet on. We don't dance. We don't dance. We don't dance. I left my heart speeding car going 90 in the rain.
I know that the Eagles are going to beat the Giants next weekend. So.
Absolutely not. Cowboys score early. Cowboys score middle. Cowboys score late. It looks hopeless. It seems hopeless, doesn't it? Too bad we got Tom Brady.
I have to root against the Cowboys, I guess. So 24-20 Buccaneers, but the Eagles will be the Giants next weekend.
Cowboys are going up early, so probably I'm gonna guess 14 points first half.
Low score.
Classic Brady moment.
27-23. Finally, a high-scoring game for the Buccaneers because Dak Prescott throwing 2 interceptions. I will give Zeke a touchdown or 2, but that's all he's getting.
And Trayvon Diggs is French toast tonight.
Who led the AFC in reception yards?
Tyreek Hill.
Incorrect.
Just say an answer. Somebody. Who is Jamar Chase?
There we go. 200 for G Money.
NFC for 200.
This person led the NFC in reception.
Who is Cooper Cup?
Correct.
Alex, I'll take your brother for 200.
This team had 3 players on the top playoff receptions leaders list. Correct.
You are the Los Angeles Rams.
Incorrect.
Is Kansas City?
Correct.
How many points was that?
This person led the Bills in playoff reception yards.
Come on, man. There's the number. I know it's 13.
Oh, you did get it right.
Yes.
Gabriel Davis.
God damn it. Yes, Gabriel Davis.
1,000 from right under Shaq's nose.
How are you doing now?
We're guessing jersey numbers.
Did you know AFR is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? Click the first link in the description below to listen to the most recent episode of the show.
Monday Night Football AFR. We out here. Damn right, Monday Night Football. Go. That shit is bleeding for some odd reason. Hepatitis ass? What the? Where did you fucking call yourself? What? right, how are we getting out of here?
So recap. Tragic. Oh, no. See you calling my phone. Must be that time to talk about what I've been putting off for so long. Think I gotta part ways with you. Took my own advice, girl, I ain't gon' play with you. Know you thought the shit was for eternity. Put a stop to it when it's hurting me. Can we talk about it, girl, certainly. Oh, you got words for me, I've been trying to keep my life burden free. Hit me after 9, that's the only time the words for me. Came through looking all good, you do that purposely. You wanna make this worse for me. You know you ain't gonna get current up.
If the Steelers lose to Washington, I will eat one of my socks. If we lose to that bum ass team, I will eat one of my socks. I say Steelers beat Washington, so we blow their backs out to the backlash. I say 100-0 if I could say that score.
Give it to Snell again, and he did not get there, I don't think.
I said at some point we sit Roethlisberger out and Rudolph was out there throwing the ball around a couple times. I was giving them. How much wins did he got? 3, 4 wins for the season? The fact that that man has the audacity to tell me that a team with 3 wins is gonna be a team that ain't got no losses yet.
Snap and hold are good, and Hopkins has got it.
I'm just wondering, why are you still salty that the Washington football team beat the Steelers? I know you still are. So I'm just confused on why you think that the Steelers are going to beat the Browns. Do you see how good they were? I'm not going to lie, that the Steelers will put it on a show with their bench player, and they lost by 1. That's a good game. That's a great game. But I'm saying is that why are you still salty that Washington football team beat the Steelers? I can say a lot about the Steelers, but I'm not going to. Because you're a friend. I'm not going to post my opinion about the Steelers.
Alright, let's see who the Jets are. Who is that person? Who is that?
And Make-A-Wish kid. Sam is post-heart transplant.
Feel bad now.
And Phil as you can see.
That's why I'm psyched up. He's never going to see this guy play.
Remember to follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at AFR Sports. That's it, AFR Sports. Now back to the show with your hosts Jalen, Shaquille, and Malin.
We are back now. Welcome
In
back,
about
everybody.
20 seconds, you're back.
We are back right now. What is going on, folks? We are back for the second half of After Further Review, episode 120. G Money, what's going on?
Jalen, yeah, not much. Just kind of like chilling, getting ready for AFC, NFC championship games come Sunday. Maybe a little B-ball, you know?
How was your week, my
All
guy?
gonna be good. Oh, my week? Well, my week was fine. I threatened to rip someone's heart out and eat it in front of them.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was a good week.
And he didn't have to help me move.
Yeah,
And I did have to help. Hey, you know what? If I had been down there, I would have lent my supervisory skills. Because I'm too old, too smart to be moving shit.
What would have been needed? It was an experience.
If we would have had G Money and Nestor, we would have had that shit done in 2 hours.
Okay, first of all, if we had Nestor, we would have gotten done 4 hours later. Actually, I don't know. We might have been done at the same time. I don't know. You had to skip out early. But I almost
Yeah.
forgot to pour the shots, man. That's all.
You poured those into flash flood speeds right there.
Did.
In case I don't think we said this in the first half, but Shaq has the flu. That's why he's not here. So, yeah.
Flu game. All right.
Right.
I mean,
we're
damn.
gonna take our second half shots. Shaq, what are you taking a shot of?
It's a random ass drink that I have in my refrigerator. Not quite sure, but it's a process.
Just an unmarked bottle.
He's like Robitussin. We got some children's Dimetap. What are you sipping on there, G Money? We know that what's it called still doing the doers.
I'm doing Basil Hayden's Dark Rye.
I've never heard of that.
I want to try that one.
Basil Havens.
I've seen it at 3 different liquor stores and I've almost pulled the trigger. So I'll bring it here sometime because I'm using this as my testing place for.
Yeah, last week we did the St. Pete.
Yeah.
It's a little sweet. I'll tell you that right now, at least to me. It's a little sweet. Kind of reminds you of an old fashioned. But I like it. I mean, it's good. Easy sipping. Easy sipping.
Nice. Before we get into the rest of the second half here, I want to mention that you should follow us at AFR Sports on Instagram and TikTok. We post typically daily on most weeks at AFR Sports. Nothing fancy there, just all one word. That's where you can find us on both platforms. We give you guys exclusive content, sometimes some clips from the show, but some other just general game picks, what we think is going to happen in some games that we don't always talk about on the show. Little bit of some stuff that we're going to talk about right now, like our community comments. So if you want your community comments to be read on the show, you should follow us at AFR Sports. I posed the question a little while ago of if you were to make your own starting 5 of NBA players under the age of 22 or 22 and under, who would it be? And just to throw this out there, my starting 5 was Tyrese Halliburton, leading the league in assists right now. Bones Highland of the Denver Nuggets. I'd take him off Denver's bench, have him at my 2 guard. Anthony Edwards at the 3. Banchero at the 4. He's playing out of his mind for the Magic right now, I will say that. And then, unfortunately, just kind of by default, Zion would be my center. So that was my starting 5. You guys did chime in. Tobias Weed, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he says, all bullshit. Ja at the 1. Bane at the 2, Ant-Man at the 3, Zion at 4, and then Mobley at 5. I don't know about Evan Mobley, but I know Ja Morant is 23. So right there, Tobias,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're out of the running.
He was originally in my 5 too, and I was like, I fucked it all up because I was like, God,
yeah,
like trying to figure out the ages of all these damn people.
Yeah, Zion doesn't turn 23 until the summer, so you can still kind of throw him in there.
Body's 40 years old.
Devil Nene says Garland at the 1, Tyrese at the 2, Anthony at the 3, Zion at the 4, and Mobley at the 5. Somebody else says, why the fuck at that positions? I mean, what do you want me to do? To make up positions? Somebody else, Smart Alex, said the Waffle House found their new next employee. Y'all think you're funny, but we see you out here.
Who are they talking about?
Talking about me.
Damn. I mean, first of all, like Jalen's a hell of a lot more successful than they are. They need to go make me some hash browns smothered and covered. Dumbass honky bastard.
Everybody's got jokes. All right, this is all good.
Yeah, they got jokes. I got knuckles. Come on. Don't mess with my man.
Did any of you guys have a 22 and under team? Just curious, or any highlights at that age?
Man, I tried, and I was like, I am not as familiar with people that are 22 years old, because I kept putting in people that was like, I was like, all right, I got it, and I was like, man, this motherfucker 24 years old.
Yeah.
So in the end, mine ended up a lot like yours, is what you put. But I was trying to put in people like Morant and other people when I was doing it, so I felt pretty stupid. But it was kind of challenging, and it made me kind of think that we're not, as much as we think that the NBA is a young person's game, because LeBron James and Kevin Durant are getting up there in age. The next generation that's following up behind them, they're going to get the short end of the stick of the limelight, man. Like, by the time that LeBron James and Durant are out of here, they're going to be like, well, goddamn, I'm like 20 years old now.
Right.
So, like, that generation isn't going to have the stretch that previous generations have had, because of the longevity that people have had lately, which is kind of what I was thinking about during that exercise, where I felt stupid.
A very good point. That because of like LeBron and KD, primarily LeBron, it's like it does take away somebody like Luka and Giannis, Jokic, Jason Tatum, like all these dudes that are still young, but we would be talking about them a lot more if it wasn't for LeBron about to break fucking Kareem's record here in just a little while. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
And you know, the same thing happened in the NFL with Tom Brady, man.
Yep, that's true.
Russell Wilson was in the league for 10 years.
It's crazy.
Cam Newton won an MVP and became, I don't know, a drag queen. I don't know what's happening. But like, there's a lot of people that came into the league, won an MVP, went to a Super Bowl, tried to get their 15 seconds of fame, and Tom Brady was like, bye, bitch, like, I'm still going. So like, Tom Brady did the same thing in the NFL.
Yeah. Do you guys have any thoughts?
No, I tried, like you said, ran into the same problems, Mel, and tried to make a list, and then your list kind of covers, for the most part, perfectly. So,
I like Evan Mobley. I like Banchero. Two standout guys. Yep.
And the fact that we got to put Zion in it, though.
I know. It's hard to make that list without including him.
I mean, uber talented, but can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his big issue. I mean, he's like AD, right? I mean, New Orleans just has this ability to draft these great players, first pick in the draft, right? They can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then they want out of, and then when it comes time, you know, they either re-sign them or they want out. They don't want to stay in New Orleans.
Yeah. Like maybe it's a Mardi Gras thing. I don't know. Maybe they get too many beads thrown at them.
Yeah, it could be too. Yeah.
Just weighs them down. All right. Moving on to what everybody comes to this show for. The Ride or Die in 5. If you notice, I changed a little intro here to not in 5 minutes. It's the 5 best sports betting picks this week.
I feel attacked. That's fine. I was not the one bringing up the stats last week. That was G Money and Nestor. That was not me.
And the records do show that.
That I'm the best.
Well, last week is what I meant by that.
Thought we were going over.
Last week, Nestor was the only person to go 4-1. The rest of us went 3-2. So that means he did get up to 500. A little golf clap for Nestor. It's 27-27.
That means none of us is a loser.
Right. We're back there. We're back at this point.
We're coming up, man. We got Shaq over 500.
Right.
And we're like, man, we're done with this. And then G Money started off really slow in the beginning of the year. We're like, damn. And he went up. And then Nestor decided to go underwater. And now he's up too. We are all floating. None of us are drowning.
So if you could just maintain that, Nestor, this week.
He said Nestor. He said G Money's +7. He's good.
Right.
He's gonna take
Mathematically,
off.
he's good.
He's taking off. He's like,
Overall, Malin is still in first place
I said.
132 and 86. He's 46 games over.
Beautiful.
I am second place, 148 and 111. I am plus 37. Shaq is 136 and 117. He is plus 19. G Money at 50 and 43, and he is plus 7. So that is where we are all at.
Just like to say you're still 9 behind me, which has been like every week for the last 19 weeks.
It's been pretty consistent.
That's
At this point, I'm just accepting my fate. It's kind of stuck.
I can't catch Shaq. I was actually kind of hoping he wasn't going to be on the show tonight, so I had a home. So I let his flu ass stay home. Let me get 5 picks in.
Shaq said, not so fast. It's probably the only reason he got on. He was
I
like,
know.
hold
He's
on.
like, no, man, they catching me today.
Does not want to hear it. First game, we got an NBA game tomorrow night, 7:30. Celtics going back to Boston after their god-awful road trip where they will host the Knicks. I'll just start off on this one real quick. I think even if whether or not Brown plays or not, we should win this game. We're back home. Bit of normalcy will set in. If Brown comes back and the law firm is back in order, Tatum and Brown will really be straight. But even without him, the Knicks are good. But I mean, come on, it's the Knicks. We should win this at home. Speaking this one into existence, Malin, what do you like in this game?
I mean, the Knicks being 26 and 23, like they're a lot like the Heat. They're good enough to make it into the playoffs and create some ratings in the first round.
Right.
But no one's really expecting anything after that. So the Celtics are going to rebound. The Knicks have lost 4 out of their last 5 since January 16th. 78% of the money's on Boston. Horford's going to be back. I'm taking the Celtics in this one.
Amen. G Money.
Yeah, all my NBA picks, I'm doing the money line on them because when I took the points last time, I kind of screwed myself. And I've watched a few games since then and realized that, teams aren't covering like they should.
We don't even take the points in these picks when it comes to the NBA.
Not as of right now. So.
Well,
As of
we're all doing money lines, and that's good. Yeah, I'm taking Boston. The Knicks are somewhat of a surprise. Let's not kid ourselves. We didn't think they were going to be much of anything, and they're above 500. But, that's usually against bad teams. I mean, they don't have a winning percentage against good teams. And, Boston's going to get it together. I mean, they're back home. It's not Florida where, they can't win. Well, they could. They beat Miami Game 7, but, that was kind of tough for them. But, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shaq.
I love how y'all find me to slander my team's name. But I didn't choose Boston to win this game. It's the Knicks. Home, and y'all catch your feet up again. Oh, yeah. Big faith. Leave my team alone.
Nestor.
Yeah, it would be very uncharacteristic of Boston, which is first place right now in the Eastern Conference, to go ahead and take another L, a third straight L. That's not happening. Everybody's gonna be back, I think, except is it Marcus Smart? Who's not coming back out of those 4 players, main players?
I think it's Smart, but
Smart's the one that's not going to be back.
But yeah, you guys are taking the W on this, thankfully. Fuck the Knicks.
He said taking the W like we were taking the L. I was like, wait a minute. I had to catch what letter he was saying there.
As long as we got the law firm back with Tatum and Brown, it's all good. We are going to the next NBA game Saturday at 3:00. We have the Nuggets and the Sixers. Malin, who do you like in this one?
I gotta take Philly in this one. Now, I mean, you got Philly 30-16, second in the East. Denver's 34-14 there. They're number one in the West. Denver's won 10 of their last 11. Philly's won 10 of their last 12. They just won tonight. So that's 11 out of 13. So you got two immovable objects here. Somebody's got to lose. But what it really comes down to is that I think that Embiid wants this one bad. Because I think that he deserved to win one of those two MVPs that, Joker's rash ass won over the last couple of years. Man, he gets red every time that man sweats, man. That man does any type of condensation. His skin just turns red like he didn't put on sunscreen at the beach. So I don't know. And I can say that from Florida and not have to worry about it because he's in Denver. But yeah, so I'm taking Philly in this one.
G Money.
Yeah, definitely taking Philly. The Joker has a hamstring issue. He sat out tonight, and last time I checked, which was I think it was like 4.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the Bucks were up on them. If that continues and he's out against Philly, yeah, that's when I might be tempted to take points. If I was truly going to a casino and gambling. But yeah, definitely Philly.
Shaq?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with the rest of the group here. Go ahead and give me Philly to win this one. And more faith in Embiid. He's very well deserving of those last MVPs, man. Was a shit game in, game out. So go ahead and give me 76.
Nestor.
Yeah, I think Joel Embiid will have a great game. I had no idea the Joker was hurt, was a little hurt, so that definitely changes things up. So yeah, give me Philly. I can't see Philly being as good as they are, losing both games against the Denver. So yeah, they'll win this one.
Yeah, if Jokic's hamstring is not 100%, I'm also going to take the 76ers at home. Embiid's been playing kind of chippy, so I think, whether or not Jokic plays or not, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder right now. So I think that he'll hold it down at home. And Sixers have been shooting the ball really, really well lately. The Nuggets are a bit shorthanded even without Jokic at the moment. So I think at home on a Saturday afternoon that they should get it done. So far we are all in agreement with each other. We are going to get into some NFL playoff games. All right, conference championships. So we've got the Niners, 2.5-point underdogs in Philly. The money line for the Niners is plus 120. Just throwing that out there. G Money, what do you like in this NFC Championship game?
I like Philly. You've got the 49ers with the number one defense in the NFL, Eagles with the number 2 defense, but they led the league in sacks with 70 sacks. And they move whoever they're gonna rush, aside from the down 4, they move their backers around, they'll move a safety up and drop him back. Purdy's done well as a rookie quarterback, but he hasn't seen a defense like this. He really hasn't. And as we've seen in the playoffs against Dallas and against the Seahawks, he wasn't as good as he was before the playoffs. His game has dropped a little bit. And I see the Eagles easily covering.
Shaq.
Yeah, I'm also going to do the Eagles on the points. I firmly believe a lot stronger team on home with Philly. They're more prepared for this type of stage and this intensity. I feel like with this new quarterback, he's going to crumble a little bit with this pressure, and the intensity of the defense is really going to put him under stress, and he's not going to go out there and ball like he was doing during regular season. So go ahead and give me the Eagles.
Nestor?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too impressed with that offense against the Cowboys, and I think Philly's offensive line will do well enough to keep Boza in line. So I think this is the game where we're gonna see where Brock Purdy his limit. Like those playmakers, CMC, Kittle, they can do these great plays, but that there's a limit to that. There's a cap to that because you have no offense to the man, you have a decent quarterback. This is not Jalen Hurts. So I take Eagles in the points.
Malin.
Because we've all picked the same, I'm like, God, do it. But I mean, all the information tells you to take Philly on this one. Hurts being healthy, 14-1, playing this year. Now that was against one of the easiest NFL schedule.
Yeah.
14-1. So they did have the easiest path to get to the record they had. I do understand that. But they do have the number 2 defense in the NFL. San Francisco has the number 1 defense in the NFL. So when you have two Goliaths like that going against each other, you got to look at the offenses. And not even Christian McCaffrey has been running the ball in the playoffs the way that he was running the ball in the regular season. They've been getting by the skin of their teeth with turnovers and mistakes that Seattle made. That turned that game into a blowout when Seattle was winning after the first half, which never should have happened. And then you only win 19-12 because, like I said earlier, Brock Purdy is playing like a rookie and not just like, I'm not going to say he's playing like Mr. Irrelevant, but he's playing like a rookie. And he is only thrown in every game he's played. He's only thrown 4 passes when his team has been down by more than 2 scores. And both of those, one of them was 8 points and one of them was 10 points. He's only thrown 4 passes. So he's been a front runner the entire time.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so I think that this Eagles defense is going to be able to put up more points than San Francisco's offense. And so I think we're looking at, as much as I hate to say it, because I don't like this city, I think we're looking at Philly going to the Super Bowl. God help us all. We're going to be hearing a lot of Kevin Hart. This man's probably going to make it to the stage this time to hold the trophy. He came real close the last time. Came real close. I don't know if you saw that video footage.
Yes.
He came real close.
I'm gonna fall in line with the rest of you guys. I think we're gonna be seeing some K Hart, some Meek Mill. Like it's gonna be Philly's finest, all trying to make a Super Bowl appearance here. I think the defenses are like on paper pretty matched, and it just comes down to the offense. And I like Hurts over Purdy. Purdy has struggles in the playoffs. The Eagles have just been chugging along, seemingly without a hiccup. So I do think it'll be within a 1-possession game. Probably like a touchdown is what will be needed, and that's just, in my opinion, way too much for Purdy to go do with a game on the line in a do or die situation for him to go drive the ball down the field and score. So I think the Eagles will pull this one out by probably a touchdown or so. So pains me to say it, but Eagles should be back in the Super Bowl.
God, it's 3 picks, man. It's 20,
interesting.
25 straight. I did 25 picks. We're all on one side.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep.
Jesus.
Next game, the AFC Championship game. We have Cincinnati at Kansas City. Pick'em game at this point. So, gentlemen, take it however you want it. Let's start with, I think we're on Shaq at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's like Casey, you said, I'm gonna go ahead and take Cincinnati to win this game. Cincinnati, I think, has Kansas City's number when it comes to beating them, and Mr. Burrow wants to go back and this time actually win the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna say run through Kansas City to get there.
Shaq, we're not making Super Bowl predictions right now, sir. We need to fill content in future episodes.
Shaq's feeling that confident. Fuck the next 2 weeks. I got you. Nestor.
I saw enough from Mixon and Perrine to think that, and of course, Burrow is going to be quick on his feet and decision making as always. Burrow's looking like the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and the other quarterback has a high ankle sprain. So I'm gonna go with Cincy. I think they'll do better, even though the Chiefs. I was impressed by the way their O line was opening gaps for Pacheco. He was killing Jacksonville with that. But I'm gonna go with Cincy on this one. I think they'll be better.
Go ahead, Malin.
So this is the 5th straight AFC Championship game in Kansas City.
Yep.
And this is the first time that they're not favored. Now, it started off at a 2.5 point swing for Cincinnati. All of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes today shows up for his press conference without a limp. Doesn't have a boot on, nothing. They show him in practice and when the media was there and he was doing like some drills or whatever. And all of a sudden Vegas, because a lot of money was being swung on Cincinnati with those points, with the video evidence with Mahomes, all of a sudden it swung it to a pick'em. So they want to try to recoup some of that money. Simple fact of the matter is that you can put some painkillers in that man's foot. You can tape it up. He can walk up onto a podium and not limp when you have that type of medical expertise. You can do some stuff when your foot's all shot up in practice while like doing some stupid drills, not having to actually throw the ball while the media is there, to make it look like he's fine. But a high ankle sprain takes 4 to 5 weeks to 100%. Not to mention the fact that heat is a very big component of keeping a high ankle sprain loose. It's going to be cold in Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's going to tighten up. It's going to be heavily taped. He's not going to be able to run around like he was before. He's going to be limited in the pocket. And like we've been saying the whole podcast, that Burrow is just playing like the best quarterback in the NFL right now. If it was a healthy Mahomes, I think it would be harder to make this pick. But you're looking at a man in Burrow that's beaten the Chiefs 3 times, and Mahomes was healthy in those 3 times. And 2 of the times they beat him, they had Tyreek Hill. So I'm definitely taking Cincy in this game.
Yeah, if with the Chiefs losing to the Bengals 3 times in a row, I would say that Patrick Mahomes is not going to lose to the same team 4 straight times.
Oh,
but because he is injured, I have to go with the Bengals. If he was not injured, I would say Chiefs all the way. There's nowhere in the world they're losing 4 straight times. But with this injury, like I kind of have to ask myself, if this was a regular season game, would he even be playing? And it would be absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
And it wouldn't even be a 50-50. It would be just no way. But that being said,
he wouldn't be playing for like 3 weeks.
Right, exactly. He'd be out for a little while.
Yeah. We're gonna go 1-4 and go back to the negatives.
I know. We're all gonna be poor Nestor. I got a little bit of a cushion. I think I'll be good. And at this point, I'll still keep my 9-point lead with Jalen. So
right.
Doesn't matter what happens. I can cash these. This is like free play in Vegas. Doesn't matter what happens.
Go ahead, Giovanni.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this game because I kept thinking, the Bengals O-line is beat up. They've got 3 guys off the bench who I can't even name. that are starting. Their center's kind of beat up. And you know, in situations like that, teams like to blitz. And when they've done that with Burrow, they've sacked him. And if you can sack him 5 or 6 times, the Bengals lose the game. That's fact. You sack Burrows 5 or more times a game, and they lose. They don't win. But Kansas City defense just hasn't impressed me. Not all season, really. It's just not. You would think that they'd be better than what they are, and they're not. And with Mahomes, with his injury, he's not going to be as mobile. And I'm pretty sure that the Bengals aren't going to make the same mistake that Jacksonville did. And that's not rush him, blitz him, hit him. And as someone once said, the opposing quarterback has to go down, and he has to go down hard. I think that's what they're going to do, and I think they'll cover that 1.5 points.
It's actually no points now.
No, well, yeah. Now it's a pick 'em, right?
Yeah, just pick 'em.
Before it was Kansas City plus 1.5.
Would like to say this is the first repeat matchup in AFC Championship game since Pats and Ravens in 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
Just crazy. I think it's kind of showing like what's to come, the new landscape of the AFC. But
that's what I'm saying, man. Burrow and Mahomes. It's not going to be
right,
Mahomes
not Allen
and
and Mahomes. Yeah. Yeah. So far, we are all on the same page. Last game here. We're going to go to the Lakers at the Nets. I will go first here. Malin, you said it earlier. LeBron will drop 45 to 50 points, and the Nets will win this game. That is my take.
I'm gonna be real simple. That's my take too, man. Like LeBron has a chance to get it within 100 points of Kareem,
Right, yep.
but they're still gonna lose by probably 10 points. And Westbrook is going to sit up at the podium looking dumbfounded while people ask him questions about why they lost again. They'll ask him, be like, why did this happen? They're like, why do you think it happened? They'll be like, no, man, I'm just a reporter trying to meet a deadline because I want to go home to my wife, or my wife would have left me. And it's because you keep re-asking me the questions I ask you because I hate you. And if this wasn't being filmed, I would probably beat your ass. That's what's going to happen. So, yeah, you got to take Brooklyn, man, because Irving has a more talented squad.
Yeah.
And
they just played Philly down to the wire just now. Like, they've been playing really well even without KD. So.
I mean, listen, man, Simmons the other night, I mean, had a whopping 7 points and 11 assists. People are trying to hop him up on social media and ESPN again. Like, how is he going to be a factor in helping the Nets win a title? I was like, well, he's going to be a detractor. That's what he's going to be. He's not going to be an increase. He's going to be a decrease, but that's fine. I've never seen anybody in the NBA completely nonchalant, like I really just don't want to be on the basketball court in my life than watching Ben Simmons play basketball.
Yeah. It's quite
He just
strange.
doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. It's just, everybody just picks on him at this point. It's like everybody else is the bully, and he just takes it.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to say it. Go ahead. Somebody else.
G-Money, go ahead.
Brooklyn's been somewhat of a surprise, at least to me. I mean, you knew they had talent. They just couldn't seem to put that talent together and play well and win. And Kyrie's not been suspended yet, though that's probably going to drop at some point before or after the All-Star game. He'll say something and then, not apologize for it, and the NBA will suspend him. Ben Simmons. So when Brooklyn traded for him, they knew that his offense was pretty much zero. I mean, he'll give you assists. The reason they got him was for his defense. He still plays decent defense, not the defense they thought he was going to play. Mm-hmm. You look at the Lakers, and it's just a sad story. I mean, AD's injured again. Westbrook's playing better than he did last year. He really is. Though he's probably going to get traded. And LeBron, you know, you're right. You're all right. He'll drop 40 points. They'll still lose. It's sad. They're not gonna make the playoffs, and LeBron will break Kareem's record, and then he'll talk about how he wants to play with Bronny and how the Lakers need to trade and build a team. It's like, yeah, they did with AD. Remember, you wanted him. Remember Westbrook traded for him too. Yeah, we got no picks. We got nobody to trade unless we trade you. It's like sometimes you shouldn't be the GM. You should just be the player, the great player that you are. But he taking the Nets.
You know what I want to have happen? I want Harden.
Hey, if you want, I can give you wind speed in the stadium.
There you go. I want Harden, Westbrook, and Irving all in Houston. All three of them in Houston. Harden, Westbrook, and Irving. You want to talk about like every single one of their games would be on TNT or ESPN. You wouldn't want to miss it.
I think the state of Texas would detach and merge with Mexico.
It'd be like the reality version of the Golden Girls from back in the 80s. It'd be awesome.
I do want to just throw out, AD has made his return tonight, a slow return. He's coming off the bench, but he's playing right now against the Spurs. Does this change anybody's pick?
No, because it's going to be a quick exit. Slow return, quick exit. Like, what do we... Come on, man. Someone's going to hit the eyebrow with some clippers. He's going to be out for 8 weeks.
It's gonna tweak his ankle going to the urinal, and that'll be that.
That's his Achilles heel, the eyebrows.
Shaq.
Just make mine short and sweet. Go ahead and give me Brooklyn to do this. LeBron got plus points. I look like a genius out there on the court, but his team wants to lose by like 15 points. So.
And Nestor, just go ahead and pick up that shovel and do us in.
You know, I wanted to do that thing where I talk about all the good things the Lakers can do to win, and I can't even do it with the Lakers. And then pick the Nets. I can't even do that with the Lakers. They're so fucking horrible. This is a team that's rallying against teams like fucking Portland. That's how bad they are. They beat Memphis. They did us all that favor. That's great. But they're horrible. And they're facing a team that's dynamic. By dynamic, I mean they have guys who get canceled, who don't want to play, don't want to accept contracts, they get injured. They're a very dynamic team. But somehow, in this fucking god-awful match, the Nets will win. Because the Lakers are just that bad. Even as good as LeBron can do.
I would just like to point out that right now the Lakers are losing 45-40 to the 14-win San Antonio Spurs.
With AD back, with his slow start.
AD back. In fact, Patrick Beverly, to nobody's surprise, just missed a 27-point three-point jumper. So that right there is the reason why the Lakers are... Who the hell is giving Patrick Beverly the green light to throw up a 27-foot three-pointer?
It was after that Memphis
Bitch,
game.
sit down.
He had a clutch game.
That man acted like he beat every Celtics team that ever won the finals just to make it to the playoffs. Man was acting like Kobe that had just won, like what, his fifth ring.
Pat Bev got all his confidence from that Memphis win.
It ain't shut up since. God.
Well, we I don't even need to go over our picks because we already know what we all pick, so it's pretty clear.
50. We're going to be 50-0, all of us. 5-0.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm going negative. Negatives I go.
If that
like
happens, if we end up 5-0 on all these picks. That's gonna be freaking crazy.
That. All right, boys. Let's
do it.
Let's do it.
Saddle up. Because again, like no one's negative right now. This is
Right.
like we win. We will win you money at
Right.
this point.
Right.
Like just listen to us. We
True
look
that.
stupid, but we know what we're talking about.
Bet your whole 401k.
Let's not go.
There you
Don't
go.
maybe don't
Do-
do that.
Let's do it in
but
moments. Because it at one time.
Bet that.
Just bet 4.
At
Listen
one
to
time,
us.
other than outside of
Do a
Jalen tonight,
5-game
everybody else is
parlay.
negative at one point.
All right, folks. That will do it for episode 120. Is there anything else we want to mention before we get on out of here? No?
I think this is the first time we've mentioned the Lakers willingly in the show. Well, out loud. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first time that they've been on the agenda and they were mentioned, because otherwise it's
Right.
usually just Shaq bringing them up the way he
By
brings up the Steelers.
By some sort of strange association.
Finds a way to bring it to people he hates and loves the most.
gotta remind you that they still exist.
Yes, we've got a very interesting week in sports coming up here. And sad to say, but NFL is kind of it.
We're getting there, which is weird.
Next week, there'll be no football. It's kind of weird to say, but
Yeah.
That actually kind of makes me sad.
Can't wait for the draft. I can pick my own fucking players, so the algorithm doing it for me.
Oh, you're talking about the fantasy draft. I was like, damn, man, you almost made the playoffs last year, Nestor. Fantasy, no, you didn't. In fantasy, you were god awful. That was not even close. But it ended up being illegitimate anyways.
Doesn't even matter because it's the bubble.
Kanye Hamlin threw a wrench into the whole thing.
I win it.
Shaq got his ring pop on his finger.
Shaq has his own. Shaq has his own Lombardi being made. Shaq has Shaq has a wrestling belt, a Lombardi trophy being made. Probably got a bumper sticker on his Civic.
Shaq should order a DeMar Hamlin jersey with expedited shipping, $30.
The man already died on the field. How much worse luck you want him to have, Nestor?
If Shaq gets a DeMar Hamlin jersey, he needs to put on
that man
red
just
alert.
needs to retire if that happens.
Don't
Because
do anything.
cardiac arrest 5 minutes into the game in Cincinnati is not the worst thing that could happen to you if Shaq buys his jersey. Not. Najee Harris had a promising career. Look what happened. Ain't no one knows who the fuck it is.
Yeah. Well.
Anybody remember Juju?
Working at Waffle House.
Anybody remember Juju? I don't even think he's in the league.
All right, folks.
All right, we're out of here.
We are going to get out of here. The Lakers are too funny.
I love it. Oh, God.
Thanks again to Mr. Dugas for joining us for the first half. G Money, appreciate you coming through for another second half of the show. We will talk to you all next week for episode 121. And everybody have a good week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.